I talked about the things that I liked that I saw at G-Day out of the Georgia Bulldogs already. Go watch that if you haven't already. This is part 2. This is the negative. These are the things that I came away slightly concerned, a little bit worried about, saw some trends with Georgia that, aren't great, right? There's a few things I want to talk about. I don't know that some of them are a big deal, but you look at that and you watch them play a real type of football game and you say, hey, those are things that just can't happen. And some of them are trends from last year. Ryan Curley from Dawg Post. Let's not waste any more time. Not putting my hater hat on, but definitely not a positive video. Offense started slow. Seen that before. Seen that happen over and over again. It's been a trend for the last 2 seasons for Georgia. The offense really struggling to get things going in the first half. You saw it happen against Clemson, Alabama. You saw it happen against Kentucky. You saw it happen against Notre Dame. And in some of those games, they struggled to get it going in the second half as well. Saw it against Georgia Tech. Do you need more examples than that? That happened at G-Day. The defense won the first half. And now, when it's Georgia playing Georgia, and it's good on good, and it's the team for y'all's perspective, the team you're rooting for versus the team you're rooting for, you say, okay, well, that's good that the defense did that. Well, that's good that the offense scored on them. It's kind of a back and forth where, what do you get more excited about? Well, the offense played better in the second half. They started really airing it out. They started pushing the ball downfield. They connected on more explosive plays. But in the first half, not moving the ball, a lot of quick punts. I took my camera and I was going back and forth because I wanted to take more pictures of these starting teams. And I wanted to take pictures of the offenses. So I was going back and forth. And I found myself going back and forth very fast. And when I say back and forth, I'm talking about photographing on one side of the field versus the other. I'm going back and forth and back and forth. And I'm not making it all the way down because these offenses are going 3 and out. And because there weren't TV timeouts, I didn't have enough time to walk 100, 120 yards back and forth because they're punting quickly and they're getting back out there. So started off slow, started off, what I would looked like to me not as much energy and crisp and all those things that I talked about a little bit over on our website, dawgpost.com. Check that out as well, along with the links that I have down below for BetMGM and all of our other partnerships. But why is it happening in a scrimmage too? Is this just a problem? Like, is this game script? Is this a Bobo thing? I'm not really going to sit here and criticize the coordinating too much, but is that a Bobo thing? I do wonder. I do have that question because I just find it really curious that it took them so long to get things moving. Late touchdown at the end of the first half for the starting offense. Gunnar Stockton hit Zachariah Branch on a nice deep ball. I say nice deep ball. Actually, wasn't a great throw. And honestly, I don't know why he threw the ball. Branch was covered. Branch makes a great play, catches the ball, gets inside the 5. They punch it up the middle with Nate Frazier. And that's the score. I think it was 13-3 at halftime. Game ends up being 34-17. There's some explosiveness in the second half. I don't know if that is a change in offensive play calling or defense because the offensive play calling looks similar to me. Maybe it's a difference in defensive adjustments. Maybe they called it to where Georgia's offense could succeed more. So I found that to be interesting and not a good thing. Next, the running game. I won't spend too much time on this because I did see positives out of Georgia's running backs, and I did see things that I thought would make you feel better about the running game improving from what was borderline abysmal last season. There just weren't a lot of holes to run through. Now, there are two frames you can look at that through. You can look at it through the frame of Georgia's defensive line played well, or you can look at it as the offensive line didn't create enough gaps. Right? When I look at these numbers, Nate Frazier struggled, and they didn't run the ball a ton. This was more about passing, but when they did, Nate Frazier, 6 carries for 13 yards. Cash Jones, 1 carry for 4 yards. Gunnar, had 1 nice run, and that was about it. Dylan Bell had an end-around run for 13 yards. Second, Chauncey Bowens was successful, 7.6 yards per carry. Bo Walker on the second team was successful, 5.5 yards per carry. But everyone else was 3 yards per carry and under. And it's just not good. It's not good, and particularly and when they're trying to run between the gaps, it just wasn't working. And they were getting met by Georgia's very fast linebackers. They were getting met by K.J. Bolden and Georgia's defensive backs. Man, K.J. Bolden looks really fast, and that's a positive. This is about the things that should potentially concern you when you're watching, but didn't seem like there were a ton of holes to run through. I don't want to make too much of a judgment on that. I don't think that's quite as concerning as what I talked about first. Quarterbacks. Well, Gunnar Stockton and Ryan Puglisi had really good moments. Yes, they did. Ryan Puglisi was 20 for 46. That's 43%. Gunnar Stockton was 17 for 34. That's 50%. Puglisi was 3 for 3 when he played one drive with the first team offense, and it looked really good. But when he was with that second team offense against that second team defense, it was not great. And some of that is drops, especially for Puglisi. Some of that was drops. Taylor dropped a pass. I think maybe 2 passes, actually. Elias Williams dropped a pass. Ethan Barber dropped a pass. Guys were dropping passes with Puglisi. He was throwing piss missiles. He was throwing rockets. That guy's got a cannon of an arm, and he impressed me with the arm talent more than anything else, which was the thing I was already impressed with when we talk about Ryan Puglisi. When you move over to Gunnar Stockton in this conversation, Gunnar threw away a handful of passes. That accounts against his completion percentage. He missed some guys downfield, missed some easy passes, and he also made some really great passes. So the up and down of it is what you don't like. You'd rather them know, hey, they're going to be consistently bad or be consistently good. I think that they can figure it out. And Gunnar Stockton in particular looked like he had more of a command of the offense and more of an understanding of the progressions. And obviously, he's just more chemistry with the guys. I thought that he looked better than Puglisi in terms of an all-in-all quarterback. And he connected on more passes downfield than Puglisi did ultimately. But the numbers, you don't like the percentages when you watch it. You don't. The last thing that I want to talk about is a lack of a pass rush. There was certainly a lack of the pass rush. I didn't think that there was a lot of pressure. And when I pull up these numbers, 2 sacks on the day. And I only remember one of them. It was by Adrian Maddox, and that was second team defense going up and tackling, didn't actually tackle, but tackled Ryan Puglisi. These quarterbacks weren't under pressure a lot. They did a good job when there was pressure of escaping the pocket. That is one of the very good things I saw out of both Gunnar and Puglisi. But these guys weren't under pressure a lot. Now, part of that could be, are they running a lot of blitz packages? I didn't see a ton of blitz packages. But still, you want to be able to get pressure with 4. You certainly want to be able to get pressure with 5. It's tough to get pressure with 3 rushers, but you want to be able to get pressure with 4 rushers. If you can get pressure with 4 rushers, you could be an excellent defense. That's what you saw with Georgia in 21, 22. It's what you saw with the Eagles last year with those Georgia guys. I just didn't see that pass rush, and it is one of the concerns. They lost Mykel Williams, Jalen Walker, Chaz Chambliss. They lost legitimate pass rushers to the NFL this offseason, and I don't know who they're replacing them with necessarily. Chris Jones was one of the pass rushers, second-year guy. Quintavious Johnson was one of the pass rushers, second-year guy. We know Gabe Harris is going to be one of them. Didn't see Darren Ikenagbon, a guy who is a physical freak. And then Isaiah Gibson, I believe, was out there. I know he was dealing with an injury. Maybe he wasn't out there. That's escaping my memory now. Some of these freshmen are physically gifted that you think, oh, the talent might be able to get them on the field. But, man, I don't know who their guys are in terms of pass rushers. I don't. And to me, that's one of their thinnest positions that is of concern. And they did not get to the quarterback very often at all. At all. And I know this is a situation where the quarterbacks can't be touched, but it wasn't one of those things where they even could because they weren't getting there. So those are the things that concerned me watching Georgia. There were definitely plenty of positives, but this wasn't a perfect scrimmage if you're watching it from a getting excited about what's going on standpoint. Let me know what you think about that. Thanks for watching. Links below.